Hey guys, sorry my music is still going. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about equivalent fractions. Equivalent fractions are just fractions that are equal, right? So there are lots and lots and lots of different equivalent fractions, and we've seen that on the number line how you could have 1/2, 2/4, 4/8, 8/16. All of these are different ways to write 1/2. So there are just a ton of different equivalent fractions. Now there are ways to make an equivalent fraction, and there are also ways to recognize equivalent fractions. And I think just okay. So let's just take the fraction 1/3. Okay. So if we take 1/3 and we want to make a fraction that's equal to that, all we really have to do is multiply the top and the bottom by the same number. And it can be any number. So I went with 2 this time. 1 times 2 is 2. 3 times 2 is 6. Okay. Those two fractions are equivalent. And I can kind of test it out by drawing a picture. 1/3. Okay. Those are sixths now. 2/6 is about the same as 1/3. Okay. I could, instead of multiplying by 2, I could take 1/3 and I could multiply it by 3. Okay. And I would get 3/9. 3/9 is also equal to 1/3. Okay. I could take any fraction in the world, 3/4. Going to multiply by 4. 12/16. Those two fractions are equivalent. Okay. 3/4 times 2. 6/8. Okay. Those are all equivalent. So multiplying top and bottom by the same number will get you an equivalent fraction. At the same time, okay, if you have two fractions and you want to see if they are equivalent, okay, then you can see if you can multiply the first number and get the other number with the same, like for instance, so like if 2 times something made 6, well, it would be 3. 2 times 3 is 6. So if I do the same thing down here, 8 times 3, well, it's 8 times 3, it's 24. So that worked. Those two fractions are equivalent. Okay. Here's an example of one that doesn't work. Okay. 1 times something makes 3. Well, that would be 3. 1 times 3 is 3. If I do 7 times 3, that's not 14. That doesn't work. Okay. For this to work, this would have to be 21. Okay. Or I could have kept the 14. 7 times 2 is 14. 1 times 2 is 2, so 2 14ths. Now, these are all equivalent fractions. Okay. So what do you do to make an equivalent fraction? You multiply the top and the bottom by the same thing. Okay, and if you do that and you multiply correctly, whatever you get will be an equivalent fraction. If you are trying to check and see if two fractions are equivalent, what do? Well, you just say, okay, what did I multiply by here to make 3 9? Well, 3 times 3 is 9, and 4 times 3 is 12. That is equivalent. Okay, if they don't both get you there, so for example, 3 times 3 is 9, 4 times 3 is not 15, then that's not correct. Those fractions are not equivalent. Okay, and that is how to create and also test for equivalent fractions in a nutshell.